So now we have CHSP. The first thing that I guess we would want to do with CHSP is set up our block funded service agreement. I'm not too sure how you would manage this, but I imagine it would be someone's responsibility to come in here when that funding is received. Sorry, I did that a little bit too quick. So when we're on our service agreements page, when we're setting up just that generic block funded service agreement, I know that for some people, you might just set up like one big one and then that's just used all of the time. I understand that CHSP is mainly around sort of hours rather than figures. Honestly, still getting my head around it a little bit, but we click on new, and this is just creating a shell. It's just so that the system knows that this is the CHSP agreement that we are using. If we have a contract number we want to put in there and our allocation limit there, and we save that. It's easy as that. It's quite basic. And then so now we have our shell. So we're working on 55. So if I come back to a contact who I'm going to be setting up for CHSP. So we have this service agreement already ready. This is our block funded service agreement. Again, we come back into plans and we do the similar thing. We come into processes, and instead of onboarding for HCP, we're going to onboard for CHSP. So this process right now is actually custom built for Ballycara. So I think there are still a few things that Alvin is working out, but we will get there. For the most part, it's ready. So now this, again, it's looking pretty similar to our CHSP. We have our prepare, assess, goals, budget, and complete. Our related tab for our client contacts and our consents. We're happy, we're just going to move on. We can create our assessments. I won't bore you by watching me do another one, but we can create our assessments, our risks, whatever we need to complete for the client here, and that will pull through to the client's page. So we're going to move through to goals. So we are going to create a goal for Terry. And you can see as I've created that goal, it's actually populated the link here to the goal achievement plan. So that's just an automatic update there. We're just going to call it Terry's goals. Terry's goals details. It's not very original. We're going to pop in our services. So we have domestic assistance and clinical care. And then this is where this section comes in that we just have for CHSP clients. So we're going to say weekly. Time duration is maybe 90 minutes. So this day is the input days that the service is provided. So we're going to do it on a Tuesday. And we're going to commence at Monday. And we're going to review it in a year. And again, if we want to add in more detail, we can. For now, we're just going to submit this overarching goal for Terry. The difference with CHSP is that we can't plan services against our goals, because obviously that's not quite how CHSP works. So all we're doing is just capturing the goals, and then we can move over into our budget stage. And this is where we add Terry as a funded client on that block service agreement that we've just created. So there are two ways to do this. We can do it from this screen, or we can do it from our service agreement and on our funded clients tab. So for now, I'm going to create it here. So I'm going to click new. The thing about doing it from this screen is you need to know what service agreement you're working from. I imagine if you're in the CHSP space, you'll probably get to know what block funded you are currently on. And we know that we've just created it. It's 55. Our start date is Monday. Actually, let's start it today. Our status is active. We're going to do these services. And then we do have these depth reasons down here for our reporting. And if we have a case ID there, we can pop that in. We can save that. Now what we need to do is actually click into this. So if we came back to this service agreement and refreshed, you'll find that Terry has now been added as a funded client under this block service agreement. And what we just need to do is click on this funded service and just pop in our service charges. So it's picked up that we've put in allied health and that we've put in domestic assistance. And so we're just going to pop in our charges there. We can either do a per hour or a per session charge. We can save that. And then, yeah, then we can now start delivering services against this funded client, against this block service agreement. The co-contribution amount is input at the scheduling job stage, which again, we'll have a session on scheduling work, but I will just show you because I do know that it's an important part of the CHSP. So when we come to schedule a job, we have this client contribution amount here that can be added in. But we will go into that in more detail during that session. Okay. Yes, sorry. Digress. So now if we come back into our onboarded client, and we're going to mark this stage as complete. We've added him to our block funded service agreement. We're happy with that. We're now on our complete stage and we have our details tab. We also have our care plan tab, which is showing us all of that, and our funding tab. Now, if I click back on to Terry. So if I click back onto Terry, I've gone into plans and I'm going to click onto his goal achievement plan. I can generate the CHSP care plan up here. So I can click that button just like we've done with all of the other generating documents. If we're wanting to proceed and actually download the real copy, we would hit merge now. But for now, we're just going to preview that. Open up this document and we can see here the information that we've popped in. So we don't have any health information for Terry. If we had any relevant health information, allergies or alerts, they would populate here. We can see the goal summary. Again, this is the information that I've popped in there. So this is client facing, the service type. So we've got domestic assistance, clinical care. We didn't add in the description, so that's not coming in here. We also have our frequency, our day, and our duration that we've added in manually onto that funded client. So yeah, just keeping in mind that that stuff is client facing on the care plan, and we just have our commencement date and our review date. So that is the care plan. And we also have, if I go back to the client, under contracts, we have our block service agreement. So if I click on that, so I did that a bit quickly. So I'm on the funded client, which I can either get to by when I'm on the contact, I can go into contracts and I can click on the service agreement. This is the overarching service agreement that we created. If I now click on funded clients and I click into Terry's funded client, that will take me back to the client record. I want to go into the funded client record. And now we can generate the CHSP service agreement. So this is also something that's been customized for Ballycara. So we can come in again. If we hit merge now, that will create the actual document. Service agreements generated down here. This is our CHSP service agreement. And so you can see here that we have our total charges. This NA next to the services we aren't providing, that is, we are working on actually just removing these lines. It was just a little easier in the background to do this for now while we work on actually getting that document done. But you can see here that we've got allied health, $90 an hour, which is the money that we've popped in there, and domestic assistance, $60 an hour. So then you can send this to the client, get them to sign it, and you can upload that back into your file section here, which that's not pulled through. And then you can start delivering the services against this funded client under that CHSP agreement. So that is that. Was there any details on the CHSP part? Nope. Okay.